My sister and I accidentally saved a badly wounded Immortal. To repay us for saving his life, he took out 2 jade tokens for us to choose from. One is an entry token for the Immortal Cultivation Sect, Qingyun Sect. The other is a princess token of the Great Yan Dynasty. My sister rushed to take the Qingyun Sect jade token first and set foot on the path of immortal cultivation. I could only take the Great Yan Dynasty princess token and became the widely admired Grand Princess. Later, Qingyun Sect was destroyed by the demonic sect. My sister was reduced to a cultivation cauldron for demonic cultivators. As for me, I relied on the royal cultivation technique I found, and quickly became the youngest nascent soul cultivator in Yunzhou. My sister was consumed by resentment, and blew up her golden core at my celebration banquet, to die together with me. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself kneeling on a grassy field, with a blood-stained Immortal in white in front of me. He was holding 2 jade tokens out for us to choose from. Seeing this familiar scene, I whipped my head around to look at my sister Chu Qingxuang beside me. Right now, she was staring fixedly at the 2 jade tokens, her eyes sparkling with extreme excitement. That was definitely not the confused look of someone seeing an immortal fate for the first time. My heart skipped a beat immediately. Sure enough, my sister was reborn too. Opportunities for immortal cultivation are rare. As the older sister, of course I should let my younger sister have it. My sister's voice was as soft as water, but I could pick up the same cruelty she had when she blew up her golden core in the past life. As she spoke, she grabbed without hesitation the princess token carved with phoenix patterns, then turned to give me a fake smile. You're so talented, little sister. You're definitely more suited to cultivate immortality than me. I pretended to be clueless, and respectfully took the Qingyun Sect jade token. Thank you for letting me have it, sister. The Immortal saw we'd both made our choices, and nodded slightly, then waved to summon 2 flying boats. My sister didn't even bother to say goodbye to me, and couldn't wait to board the flying boat heading for the Great Yan Dynasty. I watched her receding back, and a cold smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. Congratulations, sister. You've stepped into hell ahead of time. Then I turned around and boarded Qingyun Sect's flying boat. The moment I stepped onto the flying boat, I immediately felt dozens of curious gazes on me. These young boys and girls traveling with me are all the newly selected disciples this time. Some had excitement in their eyes, others had anxiety. Only I was completely calm. The flying boat rose into the air. Mountains and rivers below quickly shrank in size. I stood by the side of the boat, staring at the ground getting farther and farther away. But my thoughts drifted to my sister heading for the Great Yan Dynasty. In my past life, after I became the Grand Princess, I did enjoy a period of carefree days, but I was soon dragged into the whirlpool of royal power struggles. The Great Yan Dynasty looks glamorous on the surface, but there are undercurrents surging underneath. Imperial concubines fight for favor. Princes fight for the throne. Court officials form cliques for personal gain. The reason they treated this suddenly arrived Grand Princess with such excessive favor was only because they feared the Immortal Sect background behind her. Once they find out she's just a regular mortal with no backing, those flattering, smiling faces will immediately turn into ferocious fangs. In my past life, if I hadn't accidentally found that royal secret cultivation technique, they would have eaten me alive long ago, leaving not even a bone. Now our fates are swapped. I'm really curious how my sister will get out of this mess. Hey, junior sister. Why are you standing here zoning out all alone? My name is Shen Qingyu. I'm an inner disciple of Qingyun Sect. I'm in charge of guiding new disciples this time. I noticed you're the youngest here, but also the calmest, so I came over to check on you. My heart clenched when I heard that Shen Qingyu. In my past life, he was the genius sword cultivator who died, fighting to protect his senior and junior sisters during the demonic sect invasion. I never thought the first person I'd meet after Rebirth would be him. My name is Chu Qingyue. Thank you for caring, senior brother. After we arrive at the sect, if you have any questions, you can come find me. Thank you, senior brother. I nodded slightly. But I was already thinking in my head, in my past life when Qingyun Sect was destroyed, Shen Qingyu fought 3 demonic sect elders alone, and finally died from exhaustion. He's definitely someone worth befriending. 3 days later, the flying boat passed through the clouds and stopped in front of a towering mountain gate. Surrounded by swirling clouds and mist, 9 main peaks pierced the sky like sharp swords. I stood on the deck of the flying boat, looking at the magnificent sight in front of me. My heart filled with mixed emotions. In my past life, my sister bragged to me countless times about how magnificent Qingyun sect was. Now that I'm seeing it with my own eyes, it really lives up to its reputation. We're here. New disciples must first go to the spirit root testing platform to test their spirit root aptitude. Everyone saluted respectfully and walked down the flying boat in an orderly manner. I followed the crowd and walked to a huge spirit root testing platform, which stood right in the square. Then we started the spirit root test in order. Next, Qingyun. I took a deep breath and stepped onto the spirit root testing platform. When I pressed my palm on the testing stone in the center, a dazzling golden light shot straight into the sky. The elder in charge of the test cried out in shock. Heavenly Spirit Root. And it's the rare metal attribute Heavenly Spirit Root. Congratulations, Junior Sister Chu. Heavenly Spirit Root only comes once in 100 years. Looks like our Qingyun sect has gained another genius. I was just about to reply when I suddenly felt a bone-chilling coldness. I turned my head to look and saw a purple-clad female cultivator staring at me coldly. Her eyes were full of jealousy. That's Senior Sister Li Qingyao from Zixia Peak. Li Qingyao is quite arrogant and aloof by nature. You don't need to be scared, Junior Sister. Alarm bells immediately went off in my head. In my past life, I heard that when Qingyun sect was destroyed, the first person to defect to the demon sect was this Li Qingyao. Looks like I have to be extra careful and guard against her in this life. After the test ended, I was directly arranged to enter the inner sect and became a disciple under Reverend Qingyun, the sect leader. This was a treatment my elder sister never got in my past life. I really wonder how my sister would react if she found out. Qingyue. Starting from today, you are my direct disciple. This is the introductory chapter of Qingyun Heart Technique and 9 Revolutions Golden Body Art. Take it and study it first. I'll come to check your progress in 3 days. Looks like the 9 Revolutions Golden Body Art I accidentally got from the royal family in my past life was indeed a gift from Qingyun sect. Now I can openly practice the 9 Revolutions Golden Body Art ahead of time. In this life, I will definitely go much further than I did in my past life, and Qingyun sect will never be destroyed like it was before. After returning to the cave arranged by the sect, I first practiced the Qingyun Heart Technique. In my past life, I had no heart technique foundation. So when I practiced the 9 Revolutions Golden Body Art, I took a lot of wrong turns. Now that I have orthodox heart technique, guidance, my cultivation speed is naturally super fast. After only cultivating for 1 hour, I felt the spiritual power in my body flowing like a surging river. When dawn broke the next day, I had unknowingly finished the first revolution of cultivation. The speed is... I opened my eyes and looked at the golden spiritual power circulating in my palm. I was completely shocked. It took me 3 whole years to reach this level in my past life. But now it only takes 1 night? Looks like the 9 Revolutions Golden Body Art is really the most suitable cultivation technique for me. Just as I was enjoying the joy of cultivation, a commotion suddenly came from outside the cave. Qingyue? Get out here right now. Don't think you're all that just because you have a heavenly spirit root. A sharp female voice rang out. I frowned. I recognized it was Li Qingyao's voice, but I really couldn't figure out where I had offended her. I tidied up my clothes and walked out of the cave slowly. I saw Li Qingyao leading several female disciples standing aggressively outside the door. New intersect disciples have to hand in 10 spirit stones as tribute every month. Why haven't you handed yours in? I sneered inside. There's no such rule in the sect regulations at all. Li Qingyao is clearly making things difficult for me on purpose. Senior Sister Li, I'm new here. I really don't know about this rule. When Master comes to check my progress in 3 days, I'll ask him to lend me some spirit stones in person. Then I'll give you the tribute. How does that sound? Reverend Qingyun only gave me 2 cultivation techniques yesterday. He didn't give me any spirit stones either. I'm totally broke right now. If I really had spirit stones, I wouldn't mind giving some to these annoying pests, so they won't keep disturbing my cultivation. But Li Qingyao thought I was threatening her with my master. Her whole face immediately turned livid with anger. She flew into a rage and wanted to attack me. Junior Sister Li, how dare you bully the direct disciple of the sect leader? I saw Shen Qingyu flying over on his sword. Do you want me to report this to the law enforcement hall? After hearing what Shen Qingyu said, Li Tingyao immediately backed down. What she's doing is totally dishonorable. How dare she go to the law enforcement hall to argue? She snorted coldly and left with her people. Thank you for helping me out, senior brother Shen. It's just a small favor, but Li Tingyao is super narrow-minded. You should be more careful of her later on. Thanks for the reminder, senior brother. Here are 10 low-grade spirit stones. Take them and use them first. New disciples who just arrived, will definitely run into some unfair treatment. Oh, that's so kind of you. I really shouldn't take it. Think of it as a welcome gift from your senior brother to you. Besides, with your natural talent, you'll definitely pay me back 10 or even 100 times over later. Thank you so much, senior brother. Qingyun will definitely repay your kindness in the future. Oh right, tomorrow at the Chen hour, our sect leader uncle will give a sermon at Qingyun Peak. Make sure you attend on time. Okay. In my past life when I was in the royal family, spirit stones were just common, ordinary items. But now they have become precious gifts. But these 10 spirit stones are actually really useful for me. Third level of Qi refining. The 9 rotations golden body technique also reached the second rotation. After I freshened up quickly, I hurried straight to Qingyun Peak. To listen to my master's sermon, I went directly to the sermon platform on Qingyun Peak's top. Hundreds of disciples were already there by then, sitting cross-legged on cattail hassocks waiting. I found a front seat and sat down, not long after. Reverend Qingxuan arrived gracefully floating over. His gaze swept across all the people present and lingered on me for a short moment. He seemed surprised by my rapid progress. All things in the world follow their own natural rules. Those who follow them will thrive. Those who go against them will perish. Qingyun, come with me. Do you know why our Qingyun sect has stood strong for 1,000 years? Because the sect has complete inheritance and strict rules? That's just the surface reason. The real reason is that our Qingyun sect never gets involved in worldly disputes. We only focus on cultivating the Tao wholeheartedly. Oh, I see now. Back then, my sister had already colluded with the royal family and dragged Qingyun sect into the whirlpool of power struggles, so this was the real reason Qingyun sect was destroyed. You are extremely gifted and smart. But remember, the biggest taboo on the cultivation path is craving power. Starting from today, come here at the Wei Hour. I will personally guide your cultivation. This disciple will always remember Master's teachings. In my past life, when my sister was at Qingyun sect, she definitely never got the chance to be personally guided by the sect leader. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been so easily blinded by power and influence. But since my sister loves power this much, then for her, going to the Dayan dynasty might actually be the right choice. In the following days, I listened to my master's sermons during the day and practiced the 9 rotations golden body technique at night. With the memories from my past life, I reached the peak of Qi refining in just 1 month. One night, I was in my cave trying to break through to the foundation establishment stage when I suddenly felt a strange spiritual power fluctuation. I stopped cultivating alertly and quietly walked to the cave entrance. Under the moonlight, Li Qingyao was sneaking around, setting something up around my cave. But with my current strength, I still can't fight her head-on. I had to hide my presence and took out the image recording stone to collect evidence. I waited until she left, before I dared to come out of the cave to check. I found that what she had set up were actually a few vicious spirit-devouring talismans. Once this kind of talisman is triggered, it will keep absorbing a cultivator's spiritual power. At best, your cultivation level will drop. At worst, your spiritual root will be damaged. Li Qingyao, I gritted my teeth in anger. I never expected her to be this vicious. Looks like she's dead set on destroying me. If that's the case, then don't blame me for not playing by the rules. Early the next morning, I went straight to the law enforcement hall elder and reported the whole thing to him truthfully. Then I brought him to the spot where the spirit-devouring talismans were placed. The law enforcement elder was instantly furious. He immediately took people to search Li Qingyao's residence, and sure enough, they found materials and diagrams for making spirit-devouring talismans. with irrefutable evidence. Li Qingyao was punished to face the wall and reflect for 3 years. But I knew this was only a temporary victory. Li Qingyao has the Li family backing her. And behind the Li family is the demonic sect force that will soon destroy Qingyun sect. I have to get stronger much faster. 3 months later, I successfully reached Foundation Establishment, becoming the fastest disciple to reach Foundation Establishment in Qingyun sect's history. The sect leader master was overjoyed. He awarded me a high-grade spiritual weapon, the Golden Spirit Sword. At the same time, my cultivation was improving by leaps and bounds. News about the Dian dynasty kept coming in. It's said that the newly crowned Grand Princess Chu Qingshuang is extremely capable. She won over several princes in a short period of time, and also built up her own power in the imperial court. Hearing these news, I couldn't help sneering in my heart. My sister is still as expected, obsessed with playing power games like she always was, but she probably doesn't know. The Dian Emperor hates forming cliques for personal gain the most. She thinks holding power means she can control everything. But she doesn't know power is the most dangerous poison of all. Qingyue, what are you thinking about? Nothing much, just heard some interesting stories from the mortal world. Did you come here to have a sword fight with me today, senior brother? I heard your Jinling sword has already chosen its master. I came specifically to spar with you. Ever since you helped me out of trouble last time, this senior brother has kept coming to practice sword skills with me. We went to the sword practice ground and stood facing each other with swords in our hands. When Shen Qingyu drew his Qingshuang sword, the temperature of the whole area dropped a little. Please give me guidance, senior brother. Your speed is pretty good, but you lack enough strength. This is the 9-turn golden body art. You've already reached the 5th turn. I smiled without answering, and kept attacking. After we exchanged more than 100 moves, we finally ended up with a tie. Qingyue, your progress is unbelievably fast. At this rate, you will reach Golden Core stage in less than 3 years. You're flattering me too much, senior brother. According to the timeline of my past life, there are only 5 years left before the demon sect invades. Junior Sister Chu, the sect leader, is asking for you. He has important matters to discuss. Shen Xingyu and I hurried to Qingyun Hall. Inside the hall, besides my master, Master Qingshuan, there were also several elders present. Oh, Qingya, you're here. The demon sect has been making restless moves lately. Our sect has decided to start the secret realm trial ahead of schedule. You haven't joined the sect for long, but you have exceptional talent. Would you like to participate? Secret realm trial. Yes, I am willing to go. In my past life, my elder sister was in this secret realm. When she got that top-tier treasure, that's why she managed to escape from the demon sect later. Wait a moment, junior sister. The secret realm is very dangerous. I have a map here. Maybe it will be useful for you. I took the jade slip and scanned it with my spiritual sense and found it marks the locations of several important treasures in the secret realm. In my past life, my sister once bragged about how she went through so much trouble to find that top treasure. But this map marks all the locations very clearly. It's really true that different people have different fates. I looked up and saw Shen Qingyu's eyes flash a faint look of complicated emotion. As for this map, you don't need to ask any extra questions. Remember, on the altar at the deepest part of the secret realm, don't touch anything no matter what you see. That thing is not something we can take. Got it, I'll remember that. The secret realm opened 3 days later. I entered it together with 20 other disciples. The moment I stepped inside, the scene in front of me changed suddenly. We were teleported to different random locations. I landed in a dark forest. Ancient tall trees were all around me. The air was filled with the smell of rot. Following the directions on the map, I moved forward carefully and avoided several dangerous areas. Suddenly, I heard the sound of fighting ahead. I hid my presence and moved closer, and found it was Li Qingyao fighting, a 3rd-rank demon beast. She was obviously injured, and her movements were getting slower and slower. I could have turned around and left, but thinking about the sect's principles, I still decided to help her. After all, she hasn't surrendered to the demon sect yet. I drew my Jinlin sword. A golden light flashed by. The demon beast fell to the ground right away. Who asked you to mind your own business? It's just what fellow sect members should do. Wait. There's a ruin up ahead. How about we explore it together? I immediately became alert. But then I thought the secret realm isn't that big. Even if I refuse her politely now, I will run into Li Qingyao again sooner or later. I might as well go along with her idea and prepare for anything in advance. After pretending to think for a moment, I nodded and agreed. Sure enough, when we reached the entrance of the ruin, Li Qingyao suddenly held a talisman and attacked me. Luckily, I was already prepared. I dodged quickly and pointed my sword at her throat. Why are you doing this? You asked for it yourself? You're just a little new disciple who just joined the sect. Why do you deserve so much special treatment? Demon Chi, you actually defected to the demon sect. It's too late for you to know that now. Right after she said that, her aura rose sharply, and she instantly reached Golden Core stage. I'm only at Foundation Establishment stage. There's no way I can fight a Golden Core stage demon cultivator. At this critical moment, I suddenly remembered Shen Qingyu's warning. So I dashed deep into the ruin. You think you can run? Li Qingyao chased after me closely. Following the directions on the map, I ran all the way to the altar. A blood-red jade slip was floating in the center of the altar, emitting an eerie glow. Give it to me? Come get it yourself if you dare. Stop. The second she was about to touch the jade slip, I jerked back quickly. A beam of bloody light burst out of the jade slip. It wrapped around Li Qingyao and swallowed her whole. She let out a shrill, miserable scream. Her body shriveled up fast, and finally turned into a mummified corpse. I watched this scene in shock, still shaken. I finally understood why Shen Qingyu warned me. After leaving the ruins, I kept exploring the secret realm. With the map guiding me, I gained a lot of valuable loot. Not only did I get that spatial magic artifact that can teleport instantly, my cultivation also reached the late Foundation Establishment stage. After returning to the sect, I truthfully reported Li Qingyao's collusion with the demonic sect. The sect leader was furious. He ordered a full investigation of the Li family. The investigation even uncovered several hidden demonic sect spies inside the sect. 3 years later, my cultivation reached the mid-Golden Core stage. I became the top talent of Qingyun sect's younger generation. Then news came from the Dian dynasty that Princess Chu Qingshuang was imprisoned in the heavenly prison for treason. After hearing this news, I felt no ripple in my heart. My sister still ended up in tragedy just like her past life. But this time, there's no nascent soul cultivator me to be buried with her. That night, I was cultivating in my cave abode. I suddenly felt a familiar spiritual power fluctuation. I opened my eyes and saw Shen Qingyu standing at the door. His expression was extremely solemn. Junior Sister Chu, did you also get reborn? Just as I thought. I had my suspicions 3 years ago. Your familiarity with sect affairs doesn't match that of a new disciple at all, especially your wariness towards Li Qingyao. It's way too accurate. Yes, I was reborn. What about you, senior brother? Me too. After I died in battle in my past life, I somehow traveled back 20 years in time. I swore to stop the tragedy of Qingyun sect being destroyed. So I started cultivating like crazy until I met you that day. I realized the timeline was different from my past life. I really couldn't figure out why you came to Qingyun sect to apprentice instead of Chu Qingshuang. That's why I paid extra attention to you. Now that the demonic sect is about to attack the mountain, I took the liberty to be honest with you. So Shen Qingyu is also a reborn person. The altar is dangerous. Be extremely careful. No wonder he knew all the dangers in the secret realm like the back of his hand. No wonder he always showed up at critical moments. The demonic sect has already started making moves. According to my investigations over the years, the demonic sect plans to launch a surprise attack during the sect grand competition in 3 months. I hope you can help me. Sure, from that day on, we started secretly contacting reliable forces within the sect. We set up an inescapable trap. At the same time, we started cultivating even harder. I also finally broke through to the nascent soul stage, before the demonic sect attacked. When the demonic sect army arrived at our doorstep, they were met by the fully prepared Qingyun sect. We won a complete victory in this battle. The demonic sect leader was personally killed by our sect leader master. After the battle, I stood in front of the mountain gate, looking at the devastated battlefield. All sorts of feelings welled up in my heart. The tragedy of the past life was finally rewritten in this life. What are you thinking about? I'm just thinking that being reborn once wasn't a total waste after all. What are your plans next? I'm going to the Dayan dynasty to see my poor sister. After all, blood is thicker than water. I'll come with you. I stood outside the prison door, looking at the familiar figure huddled in the corner. A trace of pity actually rose in my heart. My sister Chu Qingxuang was even more haggard than I imagined. Her once proud waterfall-like black hair was now as dry and yellow as straw. On that stunningly beautiful face, it was covered in whip marks and bruises. Sister? Chu Qingyun? It's me. Are you here to laugh at me? This is a healing pill. I get it. You're here to show off. Ha ha ha, you've become a high and mighty cultivator, while I've ended up in this miserable state. Sister, ha ha ha, have you ever regretted it? Regret? I only regret not killing you right away when I was reborn. You're hating the wrong person. It was the demonic sect that turned you into a cultivation cauldron in the past life, not me. It's your own ambition that got you thrown in jail in this life. Not me either. If it weren't for you? I was supposed to be the most gifted girl of Qingyun sect. I was supposed to be what? Supposed to surrender when the demon sect attacked the mountain like in my past life. Or supposed to be like what I am right now. Stoop to any level for power. How do you know that? What I know is way more than you can imagine. Sis, I came here today to tell you something. I've already changed Qingyun sect's fate of being destroyed, but you have repeated your own old mistakes. Why? How could this happen? I literally got a second chance at life. I was way more prepared than I was in my past life. I literally chose a completely different path from my past life. Because you've never truly seen yourself clearly. In your past life, you hated me. Because you were jealous that I got the wealth and glory you gave up. In this life, you hate me. Because you're jealous that I got the immortal fate you gave up. You're always jealous of what other people have, but never cherish the opportunities you already have. Just kill me. Put me out of my misery. I'm not going to kill you. I'll ask the Emperor of Great Yan to set you free and give you a sum of money. You can go anywhere you want and start over. Why? I dragged you down to die with me in my past life. Because we're sisters? Blood is thicker than water. It's done. Let's go. What's your plan next? I want to travel around a bit. See this vast world? That's perfect. I'm also planning to go out and wander. Want to go together? Sure. And just like that, we trekked across snowy mountain peaks, watched the lonely smoke rise in the desert, listened to the tides of the East Sea, smelt the flower scents of southern Xinjiang. We supported each other the whole way and grew together. One night when the moon was bright, we sat across each other drinking at the top of Kunlun Mountain. Qingyun. I've actually wanted to ask you a question for a long time. What is it? How did you die in the end in your past life? My sister dragged me to die with her, duh. No, I mean after that. You obviously didn't die after that, right? I remember after I died in battle, my soul drifted around for a really long time. I saw Qingyun sect get destroyed. I saw the demon sect run wild. And I also saw a nascent soul cultivator that looked just like you ascend after 100 years. What did you say? I ascended? Even though it was just a quick glance. I'm sure that was you. So I've been thinking the fact that we were reborn might not be a coincidence. Then what's the point of being reborn? Maybe the chance the gods gave us to start over isn't to change our own personal fates, but to save more people, like stopping Qingyun sect from being destroyed. Not just that. All the innocent people who died under the demon sect's rampage, all the homes destroyed by the war. What we changed is the fate of the entire world. Mirror of Rebirth. Mirror born from heart. 10 years later, Shen Qingyu and I returned to Qingyun sect. By then, we were already at the late nascent soul stage, just one step away from breaking through to the soul transformation stage. You're back just in time. I was planning to pass the position of sect leader to Qingyun. Master, I don't have enough experience yet. Experience doesn't matter. You've been traveling outside all these years. Not only has your cultivation improved greatly, you've also wiped out many remaining demon sect forces. Your reputation is at its peak. You're the most suitable candidate. That makes sense. Shen Qingyu still wanted to refuse, but I stopped him with a single look, because I could see Master already showed signs of the 5 declines of heavenly beings, just like that. Shen Qingyu took over as the sect leader of Qingyun sect, and I became the law enforcement elder to help him manage the sect's affairs. We worked together perfectly, and ran Qingyun sect in perfect order. The disciples' cultivation levels also generally improved. 50 years later, Immortal Qingxuan passed away. Shen Qingyu and I held a 3-year vigil for him. During these 3 years, we spent every day together. Our relationship grew even deeper. Qingyue, have you ever thought about taking a cultivation partner? People who cultivate immortality. Why bother clinging to romantic love? Even immortality cultivators are human. If you have no one to accompany you on the road to immortality, wouldn't that be lonely? Are you confessing to me? I wanted to say this 50 years ago at the peak of Kunlun Mountain. I just didn't want to be too forward. So it's not too forward to say it now? I've figured it out now. I've already lived 2 lives. What's there to hold back for? Qingyue, in this lifetime, I want to walk this path with you hand in hand. Not just as fellow disciples, but as cultivation partners. 100 years later, Shen Qingyu and I both broke through to the spirit transformation stage. At his suggestion, we decided to establish our own sect. We founded the Qingyue sect and passed the Qingyun sect to my direct disciple Liu Ruyan. The Qingyue sect specially accepts those who have talent but no place to go as rogue cultivators. It soon became a major sect as famous as the Qingyun sect. What made us even more gratified was that my older sister Chu Qingxuang had also embarked on the path of cultivation. She cultivated diligently in a small sect and reached the golden core stage. Sometimes she would also visit the Qingyu sect as a guest. The 2 of us sisters finally could chat with each other calmly. Actually, I've always wanted to ask you, back then in the heavenly prison, why didn't you kill me? Because hatred only breeds more hatred. After being reborn once, I learned to let go. Thank you, little sister. 300 years later, Shen Qingyu and I broke through to the great perfection stage and welcomed the Ascension tribulation. Tribulation clouds rolled across the sky, and heavenly thunder rumbled non-stop. We stood hand in hand on the mountaintop to welcome this final test. Are you scared? I'm not scared with you here. There are finally no regrets in this lifetime. No regrets at all. At the moment when my consciousness was about to ascend, I seemed to see scenes from my past life flash by, my sister's crazy smile at the victory banquet, the blinding light when her golden core self-destructed, and after that, the lonely years I spent cultivating alone. Turns out Shen Qingyu was right. I did ascend in my past life, but that was a path full of regrets. But in this lifetime, we didn't just rewrite the fate of the Qingyun sect, but also each other's lives.